Hello, everybody. It is Mark here, and I'm just going to do a short video. I know there have been questions for more work on writing, and I will get to that soon, but I did want to talk very quickly about how to get to a 7 in IELTS. And this isn't just about a 7 in IELTS, it's just about becoming fluent in English. It's about becoming fluent in any language. But of course, you're here because you're learning English. So here are some tips. The main tip that I always get my students to follow is to read, read, and read. It's very simple, you guys. Getting a 7 in IELTS, getting to that C1 English level, it takes time. You have to have a very active brain, all right? You can't just, you know, learn English, do the test, and then forget it. It has to be part of you. You must be a reader. Um, this is just for me as a teacher the easiest way to get my students where they need to be. I have to change them into English readers. For some people, you change them into readers. Maybe you don't like to read in your first language. Um, again, if you're trying to get to that C1 or IELTS 7 score, you really need to think about making some serious changes. I'll talk a little bit about why first. One, when you read, you're being exposed to correct English forms. That's really important, if you're wanting to speak English with accurate grammar, with complex grammar. You don't want to know it. You don't want to know the grammar. You don't want to understand it. You want to be able to use it. And it's simple. The more you see it, the more you hear it, the faster you will use it correctly. If you speak and write and you get feedback. So if you are in an English class, right, then whenever you speak or write, hopefully you're getting feedback. If you're getting private lessons, hopefully you're getting that feedback. If you are in an English speaking country, and some of you are, that means your teachers are giving you feedback, or friends or family. It's very simple. The more you see it and hear it and use it and get feedback, the faster you will acquire it. That means the faster you will be able to use the language correctly. That means your grammar is correct. You use verbs correctly. You're using complex grammar and you're using articles. All that stuff that you've studied, you're going to use it quickly. Now, the first problem is a lot of times my students say, well, I try to read the newspaper, I try to read books, but it doesn't work. Usually these are students who don't read a lot. These are students whose English level is not that high. Now, if you are able to read the newspaper in English without difficulty, then just do it. If you cannot do this, this is my advice. Put that away. You've probably seen books like this. Maybe you've seen them at the library. Maybe you've seen your teacher talk about them, the English school. These are called graded readers, and these are the best tool for improving reading. I've not found anything better. They're perfect, they're wonderful because even if you are a very new English learner, you can find very easy books you can read. If you've studied English for 1 year, you should be able to start reading at this level. Even if you've only studied for a few months, you could start reading this level. And it's very simple. Let's say you start reading at this level and it's easy for you, you go to the next level. If that's easy, you keep going. Maybe you get to level 3 and it's like, okay, I can understand it, but it's a little bit challenging. So you read this level of book, right? You can read maybe 3 or 4. You start to feel it's easy, you move to the next level. All right, now you see over here, it has C, E, F, R. Now these levels are the European reference levels for languages. Up here where you see C1, that's probably where you want to get to. That's where the level 7 IELTS reading ability is. C1. B2, you're around about a 6. Again, still good. That's, a good place to be, but I think most people are aiming for this. Now, here's the thing. If you want to be C1 and you try to read a C1 advanced book and it's difficult, try this level. If that's too difficult, try this level. I do not recommend going to level 6 right away. It might work, but from years of my students reading, it usually doesn't work. Um, just my advice. Go to the level that is comfortable, take the time, take a few weeks, do that level. Once it's easy and not challenging anymore, go to the next level. All right? My main advice, be honest. It's like if you're exercising. You go to the gym, you don't lift a heavy weight on the first day. You start where you are comfortable and you move up. Again, there's a lot of companies that make these books. I think Cambridge is making the best ones. They really understand what students need and what students are capable of. They also use appropriate grammar, and some of the other companies, they use vocabulary that's a little awkward, or it might be idioms, or they just don't have as good quality for English learners as these Cambridge books. Cambridge is not giving me any money. I just think these books are the better ones. If Cambridge is watching this, please send me money. Anyway, they'll all have their level on the back. So just, again, check the book level you need and read that level until it's comfortable. You will also find they have either a CD or downloadable audio, so you can listen and read at the same time. It would be great for your pronunciation. That's really all I have to say there. As I said, pick the level that you are comfortable with. That's not what we want. We want this. What we want for you guys to see is that you're reading a comfortable level and you're honest about it. Now, from my students in the past, I have seen some amazing results. When students really start reading, I've seen students go from getting a 4 in IELTS writing to getting a 6 in 2 months. It's incredible. Now, of course, it's also because they practice and they're getting feedback. But with only 2 hours of teaching every week, but they're reading 2 books a week, they can improve very, very quickly. If you've got a year, if you've got 2 years, you can very easily get to a high level with reading these books. Even if you only read and you don't do a lot of speaking and writing, I think that'll really give you a good foundation when you start speaking and writing. I've seen students, in 10 weeks, start at an intermediate level and then finish at an advanced level. It's really amazing. I've seen students do 20 weeks or finish 20 weeks of English classes in 7 weeks. They jump from elementary to pre-intermediate to intermediate in 7 weeks. It's really amazing. As I said, this is the main thing that I recommend students do. In fact, when I'm teaching a class, I make the students read. They all get books, and in class, they read quietly. If you're a teacher watching this, I recommend you try that if it is possible. Now, as I said, I recommend Cambridge books. And if you find other ones, that works as well. I will put a few links at the bottom here in the notes just for other resources. There are websites that also have reading materials. But as I said, take a look. This stuff is fantastic. It's the first step to really getting to that 7 in IELTS. As I said, if you're already a strong leader, read whatever you want. Read the newspaper, read Harry Potter, whatever it is. But as I said, the biggest problem is most students do not read. Please do yourself a favor, become a reader, get feedback, and let me know how it goes.